2024 Riverland Football League Premiership season on 5RM.
Well, there's one game to go before we go to the grand final next weekend. Who is it going to be? Let's go straight to the Renmark Oval right now. Lachlan Winnell, Nobby Norton and Lachlan Dan are all there. How you going, guys?
We are. Trevor Scott, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Renmark. Preliminary final action. The sun is out, but the wind is also out this afternoon, but that hasn't stopped the masses turning up this afternoon. A massive crowd in attendance. Trevor Scott, you couldn't even park your car here if you tried. Nobby Norton had to walk from Cooltong.
Yeah, good afternoon,
goodness,
boys.
That would have hurt.
He's right. I had the backpack on. I used a full bottle of water to get here. Not quite Cooltong, but far enough away to get a good bit of exercise. Cracking day. Unlike last Sunday, which was 4 seasons in one day. I think I've stolen that off someone, haven't I?
Oh, you might have. Anyway, moving on.
But here it is. Here we are at Renmark Oval today. And look, the Oval's probably the best I've seen it for a long, long time. Not a bare patch anywhere other than probably right in front of where we're sitting, which is not too bad at all. A couple of changes to the sides, guys, before we get into who's going to win and why. For Renmark, for the Rovers, Rhett Perry and Steve Kalon out. In comes Zach Gardery and Liam Jackson, which we picked up this morning on. We didn't know who was out, Lockie, but we knew they were additions to the squad. And for Waikerie, just the one change from their winning elimination final team, and that is Jack Colbert out, being replaced by the veteran Craig Miller. And I think that's a like for like in terms of position, but not in terms of age bracket.
No, Craig's certainly been a stellar performer for the Magpies over the last decade and a bit in the senior side, realistically, but very little A-grade football in the last year. Will he be up to the test, Nobby Norton?
I think he's there as the pinch hitter, and when I said like for like, I meant coming in to replace Jack Colbert, who was a ruckman. But given the game Brad Burgermeister played last week in the ruck, he may only be just been needed to give him a bit of a chop out from time to time, 5 minutes a quarter, or in case he too becomes injured, because I figure they'll probably throw Jack Burgermeister, the vice captain, into ruck as well. He didn't have to last week, played a great game across half forward, but he's an option as well for him. But look, a couple of interesting teams here, boys, coming off their form from last weekend's finals. Renmark, you could mount a case to say they were lucky to not win the second semi and go straight to the grand final. So they were in good form, even though they lost, even though they kicked 6-14. And Waikerie coming in off a really good game of footy at the Berry Oval, where they pretty much dominated from the first siren to the final siren, and led, using a racehorse term, led from the barrier to the box, and did it pretty comfortably.
An interesting one. Hey, Nobby, just checked my data before. Craig Miller hasn't played an A-grade game this year.
Okay.
So that's his first game for the year. Understandably, he's played a few hundred in his career,
I'd be
but
thinking
first for the season.
That might start with the 3, those hundreds. I think he's played a lot of footy and in a lot of finals too, and a lot of grand finals. So it's probably, even though, like you said, he's in the twilight of his career full-time and plays a little bit in the 2s nowadays, but nice to have someone with experience, with size, and who's been there and done it all before.
Certainly is. Lockie Dan's with us this afternoon as well from the Murray Pioneer. Lockie, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, g'day lads. It's a ripping day here at Renmark, and I said to Trevor only a couple of hours ago that I think prelim final weekends is almost, if not one of the best weekends of the year. And Mick Kilsby will have the Magpies raring to go today. They were really impressed me last week. They hardly even let Loxton have a look at winning, and Renmark, well, you have to think if you kick 14 behinds in final, then the doubts will start to creep into your mind in the prelim if they miss a few early. So that's going to be one to watch in the early stages of this one, I think.
Yeah, Mick Kilsby coached them really well last Sunday, and my mail was, and here's one for you two, Scoops, to check out, was that he could be reappointed already, if not before the game today, after it. So there's one for you both to go to town on. And look, I thought they played really well. And the Waikerie side, when you go through it, and I didn't realise this till I had a really close look at it with someone who could help me through it, most of the side's under 23. There's only 3 or 4 blokes that are seniors, or an extra one now with Craig Miller, but not too many over the age of 23.
Yeah, they're a young side and they're a hungry side. So you look at the team, and just to name a couple, Cade Hilton has really impressed me throughout the year. Jake Spenceley's only a young player still, but he spent so much time in the Riverland before going away and returning, so he's going to be a big one today. And Jared B and Cooper Macareth as well. They're the four for me. If Waikerie are going to win, those four hold the keys. And with their minutes across the midfield and across half forward, that could be the difference in the game if Waikerie are to win.
I think you're right, and not only that, they will then need someone to finish the work, and we saw how well they finished the work last week, particularly Mitch Hahn with his 6 goals, and Byron Sumner, when he got loose and had a bit of space in the forward line, he kicked 2. So for me, it is everyone you just said, Lockie Dan, in getting the ball forward, but they've got a couple of quality finishes, and in conditions like we're in today, it's going to be another ground ball game. It's not necessarily going to be a high marking game with the wind that's around.
Oh, sorry, Lockie, just looking at that breeze and going straight across somewhat towards the town end forward pocket, towards the netball courts, which are pretty busy this afternoon as always. Will that be a factor today in this first quarter or not? It appears Renmark will be kicking with that slight advantage, or could be perceived advantage early. Lockie Dan.
Yeah, well, it appears to me as well that in the 2 games this year at this Oval between these sides, they've played each other on 3 occasions, but the 2 at Renmark Oval, Renmark have started really fast, and that's been the difference in the game. So Waikerie need to be on from minute 1.
Yeah, and Renmark will need to make sure that the wonderful Wolfords give them plenty of supply forward, pinching a term that I've garnered off our local sports editor, and I'm hoping he'll use it plenty. Renmark, I didn't see it, but I think they're winning the toss, and they are going towards the clubhouse end, but Brad Burgermeister handed the ball first, and Waikerie, who are going towards the hospital end, forced the ball out of forward lines, free kick coming back. That was Jared B running towards the goals, but the ball's been called back, and the free kick is to Jake Spenceley. No, it's not.
Spenceley handballs out to Heusler. Heusler drives into the attacking 50. Waikerie looking hungry. It's Cade Hilton that's had it, and umpire says my ball.
Yeah, and Lockie Dan said that Cade Hilton will have to play a big role in the middle. I thought he was excellent last week, and he's a bit of a smoky for the Willis on Monday night.
Gartery pushes out Miller in the ruck, doesn't go too far, and will go again.
Yeah, this is once again key to the way these games start.
Inside, Waikerie is attacking 50. Good tap out from the Rovers, and it's out to Rowe. Rowe drives it into the midfield, unable to mark it. Burgermeister picks up the mark, but no, mark has been paid to Renmark, and that is Ricky Garrett that's got that one. Free kick.
Over the shoulder free kick. He gave him a great lead up the middle, looking forward to chip it short out. Goes wide to the wing, looking for Matt Wolford. The ball bouncing loose into the Renmark forward lines. Picked up this time by, I reckon that's Harrison Brown over there. Ball back, no it wasn't, it was Nick Gillard. Ball 1-2 handball. He goes to the goal square. Mark couldn't quite be taken there by Luke Exton, and that'll be a ball up in the Waikerie defensive goal square.
This is 5RM football for the Riverland Motor Group and McDonald's Renmark. Renmark now deep in attack. Can they make something from this? Rush through, and that's the first score of the day.
Waikerie will be happy to see that over the line, and now they can reset with ball in hand and use the ball well. Tristan Geeman on the kick-out's one of the best kicks in the competition too.
Yep. Goes short to the back pocket, finds Spenceley, handball back to Geeman. He runs out of half-back for Waikerie, drives the ball up towards the centre of the ground. Mark taken by Jack Burgermeister, I reckon, cutting in. Handball across to Hilton with the orange boots. Kicks it forward for Waikerie, but only as far as his opponent in Bailey White. Yeah, and he played pretty well last week. Ball comes out of the Renmark half-back line, looks for Rowe on the wing. Rowe can't get to it for Renmark. Ball comes to Jecky. He also had a great game last week. Farms out the handball. Ball going forward for Renmark towards M, but he couldn't bring it in. That'll be a boundaries throw in at the half-forward line for the Renmark.
This is 5RM football for the Riverland Motor Group. Going to be a ball in right in front of us broadcast side. Winner of this through to the grand final. Currently 1 point the margin. Waikerie with the lead. Gartery takes the tap uncontested. Gets it out to Rowe. Rowe drives it long. Is this deep in attack. Can the Crumming Renmark Rovers make something out of this? Declan Johnson handballs back to Gillard. Gillard on the ground, and that's gone out of bounds.
Match up for Gillard is Tom Sheldon today. He had his hands full last week with Luke Harder. He keeps turning up for a job every week.
Yeah, him and Sam Chambers are going to play a big role for Waikerie on curbing his and Caden Gartery's influence, who's playing out of full forward in the early stages, and I think he'll rotate with Zach throughout the day.
It'll be interesting to see how Zach comes back from that injury that made him miss last week, because he's obviously had to play today because it could be their last time.
So ball up, outside attacking 50 for Renmark. Spills over, couple of quick handballs. Matt Wolford tried to get it, he couldn't. And we'll get a ball up just inside Renmark's attacking 50. Just on 3 minutes played, first quarter.
Both sides play that chaos game, and it's going to be perfect for the conditions here on the Renmark Oval today.
Wolford tries to drive it out. Handball from Vader out to Johnson. Johnson from the pocket has a shot. Has he made it? I think he has. And that's the first goal of the day. Renmark take the advantage.
Early entry for goal of the day, and pretty good one from the tight in the left forward pocket, but on his right foot, and no problems at all for who was it again? I think it was Declan Johnson. Deck Johnson, and he's always a good source of score for Renmark. And as we look, Renmark have probably had more pressure around the ball to this stage.
I think Declan Johnson's had a really good year too. He often bobs up with a goal or two, and some people look at that and go, oh, he only averages a goal or two a game, but that's all you need from someone playing in his role, and he works well with Gillard and obviously Alex Haynes, who's not out there today, so hopefully for the Rovers, Caden Gartery can play that role that Haynes does so well.
Ball up, Gartery hands first to it, to his teammate, and then out to Rowe, the other Renmark player in the middle, but it will come back and be thrown up again. Up it goes. Gartery again, first onto it, through off the back of the pack was, I reckon that was it was Brown, wasn't it, running off half back?
Vader's got the free.
Vader, sorry, yeah. That's where he does his best work, bursting out of the middle. I thought he might have run off the back of the square there.
Fiver in football for the Riverland Motor Group. Free kick in the middle, and it's going to be Vader that drives it long, but it wasn't marked from Waikerie. It slipped out. Dish out to Rowe, held without it. Play on's the call. Loose footy. Waikerie trying to clear this one out. Can they take it to the boundary line? They're getting closer. Umpires call holding the ball. Players are calling for holding the ball, but umpire says, nah, I'm going to throw it up.
We saw with that difficulty trying to take that overhead mark, there's not going to be a lot of marks overhead today, fellas.
Taps towards the goals of Renmark, but rushed over the line from Tristan Geeman, and that's probably the best out for the Magpies there. Takes Renmark out to 7 on the Value Care scoreboard. Kick out quickly.
Yeah, and that mark will be paid to Waikerie at half-back.
I think it's Dylan Gollan at half-back. The Rovers are just dominating territory at the moment. Waikerie just need to take some possession and take some time off the clock, but they've fumbled in the back 50 here.
Yeah, Ben Smith ball went back to him off the side of his boot, but finds Geeman at half-back for Waikerie. Bit of a luck of fortune there, because that could have gone easily back to Renmark. Renmark do get the ball back. Out to Dan Wolford. He tries to kick it into the forward lines, but with an underground punt. Out it comes again. Back to Renmark. This time it was Dan Wolford again to Gillard. Had position, but couldn't pull the mark in. And that will be a ball up in the forward pocket.
That was really well defended from Tom Sheldon. He didn't have best position on Gillard there, but he just leant in for it, and it worked.
Yeah, good work on an experienced player like Gillard. Ball goes up in the forward line. First hand on the ball was Gartery, but not Zach Caden this time. But Waikerie bring it clear. Straight into the play, cutting that off.
That was Thorpe. He gets it on the boot.
I reckon that
spoiled over the line.
Just touched on the line. That would be going to the goal camera if it was in another area of the competition.
A competition with a bit more budget, perhaps?
Yeah, there's a lot more budget, but the umpire was right on the spot, so no doubt about it. Not casting any doubt on his ability. Another point for Renmark. Renmark 1-3-9, leading Waikerie yet to score.
Got to double check that. I can't remember Renmark getting 3 behinds, but we'll have a look at that. Ball back, high, dangerous tackle called on half-back for the Magpies. They'll get the free kick. That'll be Spenceley. Spenceley drives it wide, scoreboard side, drops short of the target, turns anyway, gets it to half forward. This will be intercepted by Tim Blight for the Rovers. Good, solid defence as always, Renmark.
Ball turned over way too easily by Waikerie there.
Had the advantage as well, very disappointing. Kick on the way up the line. Magpies might have another crack at this one. That was a kick and a hope. Hilton couldn't mark it, then has the second effort, tries to bust through the wall. Umpire says, my ball.
That tall out on the scoreboard side's Dylan Gollan. He could be a factor for him going forward, across half forward. Him and Jack Burgermeister, they'll need to find one of those guys every time they go forward.
Caden Guttery in the ruck now, but it's the Magpies with the clearance. Spensley drives it to the top of the 50 arc. Can Jack Burgermeister get onto this? He handballs out to Sumner. Sumner's got a bit of space, has a shot from 40. That's missed.
Allowed a little bit too much for the breeze there. Needed to shoot it up at the left-hand post, and he tried to go through the middle, and it swerved off and missed for a point.
He'll be disappointed with that because he could have run it probably another 15 metres and gotten even closer. So, a let-off for Renmark on that occasion. But Waikerie now on the scoreboard so they can try and lock it in here.
Free kick to Dan Wolford. Handballs across. Ball comes out the scoreboard side, but first to it will be Waikere's Cade Hilton. Looks up, goes one way, then the other, shoots the handball across to a teammate. He tries to go short, but that ball was smothered. 1% by Renmark, who took it and tried to head forward. The tackling's pretty tight here, fellas, at the moment.
Now it's Hilton on half-back. Handballs to Brad Burgermeister. He drives it wide, finds Macarith, I think. He gets it on the ground. It's a wobbly old kick. Bit of chaos ball. All will dive on it, and we'll get a ball up. Scoreboard side, 7 minutes played. First quarter Riverland footy on 5 hours.
Very keen contest.
It's an interesting one so far this afternoon. Just the one goal.
Yeah, no one able to put in the ascendancy around the ball-ups. Renmark getting their hands first to it, but unable to bring it out with any sort of system. Ball into the middle of the ground here. This time, Tim Bevan picks it up, shoots a handball out to Tristan Geeman. He's had plenty of touches early, Lockie Dan. I know you're looking after the 3-2-1 today. Him and Jake Spensley have been the two for Waikerie at the moment. Jake actually told me pre-game, he told me and Graham Schwarzkopf, he's never played in a prelim. He's always gone straight through to the grand final. So this is a new challenge for him. Well, in playing in a prelim and not going through to a grand final, is that what you're hinting at?
No. He's never played in the prelim, so...
Ball spills over for a ball in. So we'll get a ball throw in scoreboard side. 9 minutes played. Good throw in. Umpire allowing for the breeze. Dan Wolford gets it up, but now it's Waikerie that managed to get a couple of loose handballs and trying to drive it clear. Renmark say that's not going to happen.
I think we're going to see a fair bit of that sort of play today, with that hard ball in around the contest is going to be hard to break out.
So another ball up. Not really moving too far, this one, and locked in. Umpire says, I'll throw it up again.
Put it this way, the first team that does establish an ascendancy around those packs will definitely put it on the board.
It's a good tap from Burgermeister, but it was Renmark that read it better, and they're trying to clear this one out. It's Dan Wolford. Now it's out to Thorpe. He was held. Umpire says, I'll throw it up again.
Lovely attempt to pick that ball up by the veteran. He can still touch his toes. Up it goes again. Renmark trying to come out with it. Out to Rowe, gets it onto the boot. Straight forward for Renmark. Jenke provides the contest for Renmark. Cut out this time by
Johnson, but now Lucas White might have a crack anyway. He gets it on the boot. A snap straight in front, and he slots it.
Another entry for the goal of the day, Lockie, for the very better goal of the day, and I reckon he might have just edged Declan out, Lucas White.
Handy in this latter part of the year. He's been applying his trade at West Adelaide, under 18s most of it.
Yeah, and his brother played really well in the backlines last week.
Yeah, Bailey's just come off the ground now, but those two are a real point of difference for the Rovers because they provide speed and energy, and it's hard to match that.
Yeah, see Liam Jackson coming from the ground. Lockie just having a spell. Doesn't have the long sleeves on, but has a sleeve.
Too true. Renmark now out to 2-3-15 Waikerie Magpies, just the two behinds
does that qualify him for the long sleeve team of the year?
We talk about long sleeve Guernseys. A bit of a confusion here. What's going on? So Liam Jackson's coming back. Oh, the 6-6-6. You've got to have... Right. So you can't actually have start one short.
Right, you must have 6 in each area.
This should be, in my opinion, a free kick to Waikerie.
Yep.
We've had enough time of learning about it for a couple of years now. It should be a straight free.
I can't even work out why in the AFL they give them a warning and bring it back in, because warning's nothing. It gives you a chance to reset. There's no penalty for a warning.
No.
Mate, netball's brutal like that. You get one foot in the wrong spot, it's a free.
Yeah, I agree.
None of this reset business. Ball up in the middle. Waikerie get a couple of quick handballs out, but it's Renmark that managed to go on the intercept again. Spoke too soon. We'll get another ball up.
That was Dan Wolford trying to get that ball forward for Renmark, but he's getting a fair bit of attention. I haven't worked out exactly who's manning up on him. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Jared B.
Well, Caden Gartrey with the ruck over the top, and he's going to get the free kick here.
Yeah, I think he just got tunnelled in the end as he flew for that, but it was a fair leap.
Yeah.
Caden Gartrey has his kick up the line looking for Jackson,
wonderful.
but intercept mark from the Magpies.
Wonderful mark there by Ben Smith, the Magpie vice-captain. I'm slipping him in for the first entry in the BTS cooling mark of the day.
Kicks up the line to a contest, tap forward, and we'll get a ball up.
Firstly, because
Bevan
it's
there.
the only mark I've seen taken over his shoulder height at this stage, and he took it with one hand.
I like it. Ball up on the far wing, trying to bust through the wall were the Magpies, but the Renmark Rovers managed to know where to go. And there is Ricky Garrett. He drives it wide, but the Magpies think otherwise. That was Tristan Geeman, I reckon. Got the kick away quickly. And the Magpies make something from this. Now on their right forward flank, the Rovers managed to pick up the crumbs and drive it inboard. And this is where they're very dangerous on the switch. Nobby Norton.
Yeah, that looks like Caden Gartery again in the play. Shoots the ball out wide. Finds Brown for Renmark, who shoots it off to a teammate. He jumps out the wing to Jenke. He's, like I said, had a great game. Jenke runs to the 50 foot in the forward lines at Renmark. Shoots it into the dangerous area, but blocked out. That's Miller there. Straight to the ground. On his knees. Can't blame him. The veteran probably has a bit of trouble bending down over the ball, and he's a big fella in it too, so he did his best. He's come on to replace Brad Burgermeister to give him a bit of a chop out here in the first quarter.
Still deep in Renmark's attacking 50. Jenke tried to bust that one out. Umpire says, I'll throw it up 30 metres out from the Rovers' goal. We are 14 minutes played. First quarter, Riverland footy on 5RM.
Ball comes loose of the pack. Spenceley gets the handball. Handball again to Hilton. Hilton clears the defensive area. Finds Cooper Mackroth, who gets under his player, onto his left foot. No one to go to, but two Renmark players running forward from half back.
Renmark dive on that one. Locked it in, calling for holding the ball, but umpire says, I'll throw it up. Grandstand side.
Good result for Waikerie there, and good work by Cooper Mackroth. He was outnumbered, managed to hold the ball up on the centre.
5RM Riverland football for McDonald's Renmark. Tim Blight for Renmark gets the kick away. Jackson was the target, but spoiled forward from the Magpies. The Magpies hanging in this one early. Going to need a goal soon.
That was Heusler to Lachlan Nitschke. He couldn't quite get a handle on it, get it forward. It'll be a ball up almost in the middle of the ground.
So ball up. That was Jack Burgermeister now doing the ruck work. Spenceley tried to crumb it, but it was Renmark that got there first.
Yeah, it was Dan Wolford getting his hands on it again, but couldn't break free from Spenceley's tackle. Spenceley right on him. Couple of rotations here for Renmark. The coach coming from the ground for a spell. Was it Tim Wolford as well?
2-3-15 plays one behind. Rovers with the advantage. Ball now kicked to the far wing. Renmark mopping this one up again. Couple of calculated handballs. Tackled. Ball spills out. Rovers might be able to run onto this one. They can't. Umpire says, I'll ball it up.
Waikerie keeping the pressure up here, and pretty important they do with Renmark leading 2-3-15 to Waikerie 1 point. You'd be thinking if they go in against the breeze, only 2 goals behind, they'll be reasonably comfortable with their effort.
Spenceley read it well, but he was wrapped up. Taken high, he's going to get the free kick.
Yeah, and that was probably their Waikerie. They just need to settle here. They're just panicking when they've got ball in hand.
Geeman kicks up the line, looks for Jack Burgermeister. He got a hands away quickly to Hilton. Couple of quick more handballs. Now it's Bevan. Bevan drives to the top of the 50.
Oh,
great
wonderful
mark. Cooper Mack. No,
Mitch Hahn.
Mitch Hahn, sorry.
Yeah, look, that ball held up in the breeze and favoured him. He was actually last to it. Looks up, passes to, and finds a teammate on a lead, and that is...
It's Glacken.
Yeah, he kicked a goal last week too.
Yeah, there weren't many of them at Waikerie that kicked goals, but
he was one of them.
He was one of them.
He kicked the single.
So this, Waikere's first set shot of the day, kicks from 50. It's a wobbly old kick. Didn't make the distance. Can they punch it through? No. Renmark have other news, and they've driven that one far, far away. And now it's back to the grandstand wing.
Massive kick from Brodie Rover.
Action at the bus stop here in front of us again, fellas, as Garrett comes off the ground and a couple other Renmark players in the interchange.
Yeah, Nate Chandru going onto the ground too for Waikerie.
Taking the spot of Luke Exton.
17 minutes played. First quarter, Riverland footy on 5RM.
Geeman again, wonderful pass for the ball, isn't he? Finds his teammate right on the chest. In about the 50-metre line, deep in the right forward pocket, scoreboard side. Looks up, goes short, cut out by Rowe, gets his hand up but couldn't bring it in, and that will be a ball up 30 metres out from the Waikerie goal.
Magpies need to get something soon. They might have the wind in the second quarter, but one against would be very handy. The Rovers get the soccer away and drive it out. Tackled. Umpire says throw, incorrect disposal, free kick to the Magpies.
Geeman again. He's come right up the ground, followed his man up, and he's a real influence in the game.
Yeah, and he uses it well, and he'll look to do so on this occasion. Sends it inside 50, no mark taken.
Yeah, Jared B the target, but a couple of quick hands out to Hilton. Has that one made the journey? It hasn't, but it's made a teammate in the forward lines in Craig Miller.
There you go.
Right in the goal square.
It's not one I'm writing down just yet, but what a selection move.
Yeah, you called him you said he knows how to get it done in these sorts of games, and yeah, big opportunity to kick the Magpies, much needed first.
I reckon the 10 metres out is probably as far as you'd want to be in these conditions.
Well, we're right behind him.
Yeah.
Here.
Just inside the left-hand post, you think?
Craig Miller, first A-grade game for the year, gets the ball on the boot, and that has caught every bit of the wind and drifted wide.
He kicked it straight. That's exactly where he was running.
Yeah, he did. He ran in on an arc, which he didn't need to do.
Costly miss for Waikerie. Takes them to 2 points only, trailing Renmark 2-3-15. They've had two shots at goal, which could have quite easily have been goals.
Yeah, and you can't make these mistakes in prelim finals. So
we saw Renmark do it on Saturday last week, and it proved costly.
So ball now far wing. Unable to mark it. Renmark. Waikerie dive on it. We'll get a ball up.
Look, I reckon that breeze is a huge breeze. That kick out's gone almost to centre wing. There's a heck of an advantage.
Yeah, and Brodie Rover is not a player that can really kick the ball. Well, not many players in the Riverland can kick the ball about 90 metres, and he's done it about twice.
He's no Malcolm Blight.
So a ball up, grandstand, scoreboard wing. Fair bit of the play on that side this afternoon so far. Just on 20 minutes gone now in time on. Handball inboard. The Rovers drive it through the middle. It's a wobbly old kick. Kate Hilton for the Magpies is going to get underneath it and mark it. He does.
You don't want to be bringing that ball back in the middle too soon like they did there, because you open it up to your opposition, who unfortunately has gone out wide to Geeman, which is not where you're going to kick goals from here on this oval. Back in the middle, Geeman comes looking for a teammate.
Paddled forward. Loose handball, but Matt Wolford for the Rovers. Bombs it out of there, straight back to Tristan Geeman for the Magpies.
I reckon it's about his 10th possession this quarter.
He's been everywhere.
Needs to bring it across the ground more. Nice little kick, short towards Jack Burgermeister. Couldn't bring it in. Ball comes loose in the pack for Waikerie. That looks like Tim Bevan. Drives it forward and finds Byron Sumner on a fast lead. That
was a dart.
That kick barely went over waist height.
Yeah, that was straight down his throat. In fact, yeah, you wouldn't have wanted to stand in Byron Sumner's way there, because he would have run through anything there. So
yeah, great lead.
This is a big kick.
Great lead, great kick on his natural left foot. Very difficult end to kick goals at, I think.
Yeah, he kicked from about 40, pretty big angle.
Runs around onto the left, shoots it up, and he likes it.
Yeah.
So to Waikerie, very handy goal to the Pies. Takes them to 1-2-8, trailing Renmark 2-3-15. And you'd almost say that, despite what it says on the scoreboard, they've had the better of the last 5-10 minutes this quarter.
Well, that's right, and I think that is a classic example of Byron Sumner learning his lesson from, and a teammate's lesson from earlier in the game, because he had a shot that drifted right. He started out of the left goalpost and it just drifted back beautifully.
Yeah, maybe he should have run past Craig Miller for a handball. No disrespect to Craig, but it was on. He was only 10 metres out.
Well, yeah, but if you are Waikerie, though, you'd expect that Craig could have kicked that, but, the opportunity's gone now. But, they might rule it, but you never know. But
nothing like certainty, Lockie. It far trumps expectation.
That's
Out
right.
of the middle comes Brad Burgermeister with a kick forward. Waikerie got a bit of a spurt going here at the moment, playing quite well. Ball comes out. This time Nitschke jams it on the boot for Waikerie, shoots it into the forward 50. No one can get their hands on it. Thorpe tries to come clear for Renmark, gets it to Vader. He shoots a handball out. Series of handballs from Renmark, but they've turned it over. And running through, I reckon that's Mitch Hahn, isn't it?
Lockie Nitschke slotted it.
He's only recently come back into the side in sort of maybe the last 6 weeks or so and making an impact already.
2 goals in a minute sees Waikerie only trailing by a point. 2-3 Renmark, Waikerie 2-2. So it's 2-3-15 to 2-2-14, and you'd say, gee whiz, they had opportunities, but now all of a sudden they're creating more.
I think the scoreboard's reflective of the game so far.
Yeah.
It's been pretty even. Renmark dominated early, but Waikerie have worked their way back into it, and now we're only 1 point separating.
Yeah, it's a game we half expected or wanted, and we're getting it, which is good. So the ball comes back in the middle. Gardery and Ruck versus for Renmark versus Brad Burgermeister. So it's the A team in there, and I note I reckon Jared Rowe is manning up on Jake Spenceley by the look of it.
I'll keep an eye on that. It would appear that is right. Ball up in the air. Brad Burgermeister gets the better of it. Vader ran over the top for the Rovers. Now Rowe had a crack. Umpire says, I'll have another go at that one.
Yeah, Vader trying to lift his side.
Ball up back in the centre. That was Burgermeister. Out to Heusler. The Magpies have got another clearance. Some that couldn't quite mark it. It bounced off the chest. Dan Wolford, he was tackled mid-air. Umpire says play on. Spenceley, handballs out to B inside 50, and Hilton, great mark inside.
What a kick. Another one of those low kicks into the wind, and that was even more of a worm burner than the last one.
Well, this guy is easy to spot because he's got
The
some of
orange
the brightest boots. As the quarter-time siren sounds, this is a huge kick.
So he can give Waikerie the lead here, or level the scores, or leave them a point down. 3 options here. What are you thinking?
Won't make the journey.
So the score will say Renmark 2-3-15 to Waikerie 2-2-14. Great call, Lockie Dand, and it did not make the journey.
Well, there you go. First quarter now done in the prelim final for 2024. It's the Rovers leading by just 1 point here at Renmark this afternoon. 5-room football for the Riverland Motor Group and McDonald's Renmark. We'll go back to Trevor Scott in the Sideline View studio.
Live and local on footy's home ground. 5RM.
Oh, sing along to Hoods. My goodness me, that brings back some memories. Update from the Barmah Monash win with the B grade preliminary final earlier. Barmah Monash 7-6, 48 to Berry, just 2 behinds, which is not the great thing, but anyway, that's how it goes. Update out at Lamoureux as well. Maipo currently at quarter time, 4-2-26, leading the Suns 1-4-10. So we'll go back to Renmark as they'll be coming back out for the second quarter, I should say, Lachlan Doan.
Yeah, they will be pretty soon. Trevor Scott, Lockie Dan's actually on the field at the moment. I'm not sure where he's actually got to. I'll check in with him. Lockie Dan,
I thought he was
got a
there with
copy.
you.
Yes, I am. I was just over listening to Mick Kilsby rev up the Magpies, and yeah, they were very happy with the way they've started.
What did you hear? What was the key message there, Lockie Dan? They trail by 1 behind, we believe. There's a bit of an adjustment that's been made to the scoreboard.
Yeah, they're just around focus on contested ball in this second quarter. They know Renmark are going to come, and they know how to do it on home ground, so they've got to keep going throughout the second quarter, really.
Too true. Ball back in the centre. We're about to get underway for the second quarter. Supporters just leaving the field. Good crowd here at Renmark this afternoon for this 2024 preliminary final, and there it is. Siren sounds. Second quarter action underway at Renmark. Tap in board. Didn't go too far. A soccer off the deck to the Magpies. Now kicking to the town ends. Trevor Thorpe on halfback couldn't quite pick it up. Has another crack at it. Now gets the handball out and there's a kick away. Renmark through the middle, but it's the Magpies through Tristan Geeman that go on the rebound. And now it's back to the Rovers.
Oh, so lucky he was nearly off there. I think that's Tim Wolford, isn't it?
That is Josh Fader.
Josh Fader, sorry. Yeah, it was Matt Wolford that picked up that kick across halfback. So here he is again. Gee, he can make some ground quickly, Matt Wolford, can he?
Ball's kicked out of bounds. This will be a free kick to the Magpies.
One other thing I did notice at the break was that they split off into the forward mids and backs, and Mitch Hahn was one leading the forward chat really well. They've got to focus on players, and then Mick Kilsby would reinforce the message that he wants from each line. So that's going to be something to watch.
Renmark getting the ball forward. Straight up. Nice mark taken in the Renmark forward lines. This time by, I reckon this might be Mitch Jenke again. Kicks it across. No, it wasn't. It was Gartery.
That's been marked inside the defensive 50 by Dylan Gollan for the Magpies.
Bit of a game of turnovers at the moment. Neither side able to get some possessions together. This one comes out to Jack Burgermeister on the wing, and he was taken front on. Fair call. Looks to play on. This time Hahn breaks 2 tackles for Waikerie and drives them forward into their 50 to Sumner, 1-on-1, and takes a great mark. Turns, dodges another player, looks up and kicks it out of bounds on the full. Gee, what a great bit of play until he kicked it.
Yeah, would you, in that situation, would you prefer him to go back and have a shot if you were the coach of the Magpies, Nobby?
No, that's the way he plays. You just got to back him in. The only thing is he could have run on. He was around both of them. He could have run all the way into the goals. The wind caught him out again.
Certainly had a fair bit of time,
space
as well.
Great passage of play, though. You saw Mitch Hahn up high, half forward, dodged 2 tackles, broke through one with his strength, and then found Sumner, who took a nice mark. And he's outsized and still took the mark. Renmark bringing the ball out of defence, driving it up towards the centre of the ground.
Oh, great mark from Jack Burgermeister, going back with the flight of the ball.
That one goes straight into the mark of the day, just simply for courage alone.
Dishes it out to Exton. He had to work hard to get it on the bounce. Now back to Burgermeister, back to Exton. Going on the switch. He's found the 24 of Sam Chambers on the far left back flank.
Waikerie handling the ball much better at the moment than Renmark.
Drives it up the line. That one spills over the boundary line. Craig Miller was the player that was closest. And we'll get a ball in, or are the Rovers going to get a kick? No, it's going to be a ball in.
Gee, I can see Craig Miller sensing another grand final for him to play in. And he's certainly, he's not a weak link there. He's come in and playing his part very well. Courageous selection by the Magpies.
Ball in. Dan Wolford got the clearance, kick away. Looked for Garrett, but funny bounce. Now Cade Hilton through the middle. Stoppage it is.
He read that ball well. He didn't go in too early, just kept floating behind the pack.
Ricky Garrett going full noise of that ball until it went right angles. Another ball up. Umpires called a free kick to the Magpies.
Burgermeister again. Brad this time. On top in ruck again, just like he was last Sunday.
Yeah, and this is a big challenge for him this week. He's playing on Zach Gartery, who's back into the lineup, and You'd have to think he'd probably be one of, if not the best ruckman in the competition. So.
Probably best one in SA country. Kick going, intercepted again, this time by Dan Wolford from Renmark at halfback. Shoots it out to the wing and finds Jared Rowe.
Rowe right in front of us, broadcast side. Just hold station for a second, looking for a target. Gets told to hurry it up. Kicks it as long as he can down the line. They all flew up, but an intercept marked by the Magpies. Oh, free kick to the Rovers for a push.
Gillard to take the free kick. It was Exon, I think, got into his back. Gillard drives it on straight away into the forward lines. But this time Ben Smith from Waikerie will be first to it, but gets a nasty bounce. Can't get the handle on it with Tim Wolford right behind him, who comes in again. Ball running around on the ground. No one able to get hold of it. It rolls across the boundary line. Will be a boundary throw in inside the Renmark 50 at the hospital end.
He had Braun with him, but they both worked it out of bounds. Ball in. That's a high one. Renmark get the tap, but it's the Magpies that get a couple of hands in it. Kate Hilton out the back. Had a couple of bites. Taken to ground. Umpire says, my ball.
Gee, handles the ball that one grab every time, which gives him that little bit of time just to do something with it.
So ball up in the Rovers forward pocket. More hands. Wakerie's defence working overtime. They drive it out, but intercept marked by the Rovers.
Back in it comes through the 50, looking up across the top, and he finds Tim Blight from Renmark right at the top of the 50, probably 40 metres out. Blight's drifted forward for Renmark, following his opponent.
He's going to probably kick this from the paint. Not normally a known goal kicker, so we'll have to see how this goes.
A forward in his previous life, I think, Lockie, but that one's nowhere near it. Not even going to make the distance. Needs 2 kicks. Waikerie player first to the ball. They run clear of the back line. I reckon that was Cooper Macrath with that footy. Hit it, shoots over the pack. Mark pulled in by B, I think.
A couple of Rovers coming off and a couple of Rovers going on. Got one that's gone deep forward, or deep defence in Harry Beavis.
Yeah. Waikerie created some forward space for Sumner. He's the only one forward, but he had 3 Renmark opponents that time. So Renmark not getting dragged out of that defensive 50. Handball, series of handballs, ends up with Matt Wolford from Renmark. Looks up, has a shot. Wynn gets hold of it, goes through for one behind.
That's about the 4th time that's happened in this game so far. So I think what you've got to do is aim at the left goal post and try and watch it drift back through.
Yeah, and it's happened to left footers every time.
Yep. 5-room football for the Riverland Motor Group. McDonald's Renmark.
Renmark 2-4-16, leading Waikerie 2-2-14 to my book, even though it doesn't say that on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the Value Care scoreboard. We'll check that one. I think it's 2-2-14 as well.
So do the timekeepers.
So we'll check that one. Regardless, Rovers out to 2-4. Waikerie with the kick out. Just watching the bench here. Tristan Geeman coming off, hobbling a little bit. Not good signs.
Is that a bench or a bus stop here?
No, that's the bench. Kilsby's calling the shots here, just saying get him fixed up and get him back out there.
Yeah, this looks like Nash Andrew with the football across half-back for Waikerie. Looks up, comes down this wing. Looking for, but not finding his teammate, and intercepting is Harrison Brown. He's read that ball much better. So Renmark will drive this back in the forward lines.
Geeman's gone into the rooms too, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Yep. Rovers on the attack into their attacking 50. Declan Johnson got a hand on it. Inboard, the Magpies drive it out, finds Hilton. Hilton handballs back to Spenceley. Looking for Hahn, who manages to mark it. Play on's the call. Takes the game on, has a bounce. Ticks up, looks for Sumner. Sumner outmarks by Jake Anspatch and Rovers.
There's a bigger Anspatch managed to muscle him under the ball and take the mark. A lot of people complaining about the work by Mitch Hahn there, but sometimes when you take the mark, you can almost do whatever you like.
Well, that's right, but I'll tell you what, one thing I am noticing, it would be a hard job to be a forward today because both sides are really struggling with playing out in front because on one occasion earlier, Stephen Braun took a mark, was in best position and it just faded away from him.
Ball coming out of back lines from Waikerie finds Miller at half-back. Sumner limping from the ground with his boot off with ankle injury by the look.
Not good.
No.
So Cooper Macarath has taken his spot in the forward line.
Cooper's played plenty of time forward, but Sumner's a live wire. Ball comes across the ground. This time Blight taking the mark at between centre wing and half forward for Renmark.
So Sumner and Geeman in the rooms, they've been 2 of their best so far, so that's massive.
Yep.
Up to the hot spot, inside attacking 50 for the Rovers. Gillard paddles it forward, picks it up off the deck, kicks it wide. Run onto that one, Lucas White, and that's gone out of bounds.
Your boundary throw in. Gee, a bit of work going on down in the Waikerie change rooms at the moment with both those players limping from the ground.
Hanging in this one at the moment. 2-4 plays 2-2 on our books.
Miller coming from the ground, being replaced by Harry Glacken back on. Holding up his end, Craig Miller.
They say you get smarter, to work smarter, not harder.
It is only the first half.
Cutting the angles.
Free kick here, I think. I think it's going the way of Renmark, so there's a big scoring opportunity here.
Yeah, didn't see it, but it was something in the pack. Might have been a hold. To take the kick at goal is...
That's Ricky Garrett.
Ricky Garrett.
Normally a pretty good shot on goal.
He's a sort of player that often has an impact in finals. He's been BOG in a grand final. I think he's that sort of player, big game player.
2022 at the Lakeside, best on ground. Ball's on the way.
Ooh,
no one's
missed.
Celebrating because that's a behind.
That's the first miss to that side. I believe it hit the post.
Gaiman's just emerged from the rooms. He looks to be running, so it's big news.
Yep.
Keep an eye on that one. Magpies with the kick out.
Maybe he just needed to change his chewing gum.
Just under 10 minutes gone on the Barmera Club clock. Intercept marked by Harry Beavis of the Rovers on half forward now, though.
Some of these Renmark defenders in unfamiliar territory up forward.
Beavis gets the ball to boot, kicks to the square, flew up, sport forward. Exton for the Magpies paddles that one out of bounds.
So Renmark having a lot of play in their forward line and not able to take advantage of it. Only 2-5-17 leading Waikerie 2-2-14, only a 3-point lead despite the amount of opportunities they've had. Ball comes clear. Smith gets a handle on it but can't get free of his Renmark opponent. So it'll be another ball up at half back for Renmark.
Gartery and Burgermeister squabble over it.
Sorry, half forward for Renmark, half back for Renmark. Nice little torpedo out of the back lines and taken by Jack Burgermeister, still inside the defensive 50. Shoots the handball over to B. He looks up. Macrath in a bit of a wrestle with his opponent. Couldn't break free. Renmark outnumbering the Waikerie players here in a half back. Look up and were able to clear the ball to Zach.
That's Caden Gartery.
Caden Gartery, yeah.
Gets told to play on. Kicks it to the 50. Spills over the back. Magpies try to clear this one out. They do. Oh, spoiled. Magpies have another crack at it. Mitch Jenke for the Rovers intercepts, but now it's the Magpies who get a kick out. Finds Jared B on half back.
Yeah, he's the go-to guy when you come out of the defence for Waikerie. Takes his time. Not going to give it straight back to Renmark. Looks to play on around his man. Shoots the pass up. Ball comes to Cooper Macrath. Quick handball to Tim Bevan. Couldn't get a decent kick away, but out comes Spenceley with it. Can't dispose of it. That will be a ball up on the wing.
That was a smart move by Spenceley.
Yeah.
He knew you show no attempt and just go to ground with it and it'll be a ball up.
Yeah, he had no one to give it to, so it was no point creating a loose ball for... Gee, in goes Nitschke again. He had a bit of a purple patch at the end of the first quarter, and he is fired up.
There's no way you could have paid that free kick against Jake Spenceley.
Well, we've seen him this year where there's been an attempt and they have been paid. Now it's
comes
Hilton.
To B. B looking for someone with a handball. Finds Jack Burgermeister onto the left foot. Hilton had a look around.
Oh, contest on half back. Rovers, players gone to ground.
He put himself in the spot where he had to, unfortunately, and copped the knock, but he's up on his feet.
That was Blight. So ball up on the Magpies attacking 50. Tap down to Heusler. Gets a hand out to Hilton.
Play.
Hilton
Gee
shot
whiz,
on
guys.
goal.
Gee whiz.
Oh, what's the umpire going to say?
Talk about goal of the day. There it is.
Oh, what a freak. That is unbelievable. You cop a big hit and then you burst through off the stoppage, throw it on the right foot and snap it through like that. That is the very better goal of the day.
Certainly is.
Byron Sumner is out of the rooms too. He's talking to the bench. I can't see whether he's got
his
footy boots on. I'm just going to... I think he has got his footy boots on.
Yeah,
so
the magic hands of Shirley Mudge has got him back out.
Looks like he's moving okay, so that's going to be one to watch along with Gaiman, who I don't think is... Oh, yes, he is back out there. Tristan Gaiman is on the field. So
scoreboard in all sorts of trouble, giving that goal to Renmark instead of Waikerie. My score has me 3-1, 19 Waikerie, leading Renmark 2-5, 17.
I'll double check those numbers in a second.
But that goal certainly was a Waikerie goal.
Yes, no, it certainly was.
And they put it up on the scoreboard for Renmark. There's all sorts of things happening over there. If you happen to be at the ground looking at the scoreboard, hang on. No one's got any goals now. It's a full reset going on.
I like it. Ball back in the middle. It's Caden Gartree. Doesn't go too far. We'll go again.
Yep, at least the goal's gone up in front of Waikerie. I think they still haven't got the points right. But Waikerie leading this game in the second quarter.
3-2-20 on my books. To 3-1-19 the Rovers.
Nice bit of play there by Liam Jackson. Might even create a goal for Renmark. He's
Push out.
spoiled.
Now the Magpies on half back. They don't want to just undo their good work. Paddles forward. That was Braun.
To Spenceley.
Handball over the top. There's Lockie Nitschke. In a bit of form today.
Takes a bounce. Shoots the handball out to Jack Burgermeister. Sells the dummy. Back looking for Nitschke from Waikerie as he pushes the ball forward for Waikerie. Has a go at it in mid-air. Ben Smith gets the handball out, this time to Cooper Macrath. Another handball to this time to Jack Burgermeister. Drives the ball deep into the forward lines for Waikerie, but chopped out again by Anspatch from Renmark in the back lines.
Risky play there by Lockie Nitschke, but I suppose I guess you could say he made it work. They kept getting the ball forward, but yeah, risky.
Ball on the switch to 2-on-1, Renmark's favour, but out there's Hilton. You need more out there when he's there. Nice tackle. I think that might have been... Gee, it's good that the umpire didn't insert himself, but that might have been incorrect disposal, I think.
Yeah, very close to holding the ball too. Not a lot of an attempt to get that out, but continues.
Yep, Hilton again bursts from the pack, this time onto his right foot, looks up and finds Jack Burgermeister on the lead for Waikerie in the forward pocket. Gee, has Kate Hilton turned it on this quarter or what, fellas?
Handball to Jake Spenceley, snap on goal. Has missed.
1 point only, takes Waikerie to 3-3. 21 in my book to 2-5-17, a 4-point lead to the Waikerie Magpies halfway through this second quarter. Byron Sumner at the bus stop, ready to come back on.
The Value Care scoreboard for me has those scores. 21 playing 17. The Magpies with the lead at the prelim final. Only the winner keeps their season alive. That's Tim Wolford that bombs it to half forward. Didn't have a target but put it out in space. Paddled to the right angle it was. Now back inboard. It's Harry Beavis, I reckon, at half forward. Kicks it to the square, looking for Gillard. Can he soccer this one through? I think he has.
Gee,
that's kicked a goal.
Gee whiz, he made a beautiful position there. He kept running around the pack.
If it is a goal yet.
Umpires having a bit of a discussion. Got no cameras to go to for this one.
I think it's a goal, fellas.
It is a goal.
Yep. Look, marvellous position there by Gillard. He had to leave that pack a couple of times and find new position. He found himself right under the ball and was the first one there when it hit the deck.
Yeah, and I thought Zach Guthrie was up at full forward on that occasion. I thought he played that really well as well, created the space, allowed Gillard to run into some, and then he only needs a step and he can make you hurt.
Which now gives Renmark back the lead. Renmark
2 points.
Renmark 3-5, playing Waikerie 3-3.
That's what I've got on the Value Care scoreboard.
I'm going with that, Lockie Winnell.
We'll check with that at half time.
Another lead
17
change.
minutes played on the Barmera Club clock. Ball back in the centre. Prelim final, well and truly alive and well. Renmark through row. Handballs out to Matt Wolford. Sorry, Tim. Tim kicking into the attacking 50. Can Renmark double this one up? This ball's going wide to the boundary. Players trying to shuffle this one over. They have. Just like a valet car parking attendant, they've shuffled that one over the boundary line.
The game's opened up in the last 5 minutes, hasn't it? More possession around the ball and people bursting clear of the pack.
That breeze maybe has just dropped out a little bit. I wouldn't say much at this point.
It's almost going straight across now. Here's Hilton again with another important touch for Waikerie in the pack. Looks to handball it out. Can only go as far as Matt Wolford and the ball's held to him and it'll be another ball up.
Ball up on Rovers attacking 50. Miller in the ruck for the Magpies. Tim Wolford gets a kick off the ground. Umpire has called a free kick.
I think that was for holding the ball.
Yeah.
I think he took too long to dispose of it.
Yeah,
it was too. So it's Heusler for the Magpies that has it. Gets it on the boot. Up the line. Harrison Brown for the Rovers gets the intercepts. Bailey White knocked out of his hands. Umpire says that's incorrect disposal.
He had prior opportunity, and unless you get rid of it properly, handball from Spenceley finds Byron Sumner back on the ground, looks up, Beautiful kick forward. Gets Macrath at half forward for Waikerie. He looks back in the middle. Finds Spenceley, who was off but is going to get away with it.
Again, professional play. He knows how to do that.
Yeah, one step instead of two. You know, the interesting thing about him, he always knows where the umpire is.
Jake Spenceley drives it long. They all flew up for the mark, but it was Harry Beavis for the Rovers that cleared it out. Now AJ Hem, he couldn't get underneath it. Dan Wolford tries to clear it out. Cooper Macarath was off then for the Magpies, but there's a free kick to the Rovers.
Yeah, that one will go to Dan Wolford. Unfortunately, he did get rid of it. He was taken late, and the tackler hung on a little bit too long. Threw him to the ground, resulted in a free kick. He looks up, chips it wide to a teammate at halfback. Still haven't got out of defence yet. Another kick out to the wing. Still haven't made the defensive part of the 50-metre centre square. Now they go up the wing. Ball's turned over. Waikerie, this time Geeman, drives it back long and hard into the Waikerie forward line, but only as far as the big fella, Zach Garter. He takes a mark in defence for Renmark.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to defend that, I don't think.
Handball's behind, finds Harrison Brown, has a bounce, has a second, running through the middle. Handballs to Matt Wolford. The Loxton North and Renmark premiership player, the only one to ever play for both sides and win a premiership.
Morgan Edwards with the ball on centre wing, looks up, looks for a teammate. It's punched away from him. From Declan Johnson, the ball was punched away. Ball come forward. Lovely pick up by Jack Burgermeister. Handballs to Spenceley, who's running forward into the Waikerie forward lines. Looks up. Sumner all on his own at the back of the pack. Takes a mark. Deep in the forward pocket.
This is the right side for him, and the breeze isn't as strong to this end, I don't think.
So the right side for a left footer.
Yes, he will arc it back beautifully.
20 minutes played on the Barmera Club clock.
Gee, it's still going to be a tough kick.
Yeah, he might even set this up for the top of the goal square, so get your markers.
My tip is he runs around a little bit as he kicks it. No. Holy
Sends it on the way.
Oh, no, it started at too skinny and it stayed that side. Trying to work out why he didn't run around and give himself another metre or two. He had no one near him other than the guy standing the mark.
Brings the margin down to 1 in favour of the Rovers.
Gee, great game of footy, guys, and both teams having their moments.
Renmark clear this one out, up the middle. Blight marks that unopposed, turns and just kicks it, puts it out in front, run onto that, and that's what they do. That was Declan Johnson. Johnson inside 50, and that's a mark.
He hurt himself.
He's knocked out of his hands, but it was
I think he'll get up. His shot at goal always gets you up off the ground.
Yeah, he'll be up.
Might have been looking for the 25.
Liam Jackson was about to grab that footy and just kick it if he couldn't, but Gillard's like, no, Liam, I can get up and kick this one.
3 kicks, and they took it from one end to the other. This will be a goal with 4 kicks without Waikerie touching the ball if he kicks the goal. Kick straight up the middle. Found Blight. Blight out wide to Declan Johnson. Johnson to Gillard.
Kick it to space.
Yeah, use the space. It's almost like Waikerie dropped their concentration for 30 seconds.
So Gillard has his kick, 45-degree angle, 40 out, and he's missed.
Gee.
Another victim to the breeze at that end.
Yeah, on his home ground, you'd think he might be a little bit more aware of it.
And left footer.
Yeah, another left footer.
3-6-24 plays 3-4-22 on the Value Care scoreboard. It's the Rovers with a 2-point advantage.
The Renmark Rovers well on their way to another 6-goal, 14 game by the looks. They're nearly halfway there.
Well, you just have to question. Where I said it pre-game, you have to question whether these doubts come into the back of your mind. So. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to watch, no doubt. They weren't that far away from sitting on the sidelines this afternoon. So, yeah, and now they've left themselves with a hill to climb. But, yeah, they are in front at the moment, so that'll help them out.
See Burgermaster take Zach Garter all the way across the other side of the ground so Waikerie could take that ball in on the opposite side of the ground then. Magpies
have the kick out, but it didn't go to plan, and we'll get a ball up. Still inside, Rovers attacking 50.
I'm wondering whether two things, whether Big Burgermeister's trying to take Garter out of the play and also perhaps trying to wear him out a little bit since he's coming back from injury.
Well, you would
another
have to
ball up
that.
It'll be.
The rumour was that he was just unwell, but yeah, I haven't had that entirely confirmed. But
Garter, he taps in board, finds road, but went about half a metre. We'll go again.
2-point game here at the Renmark Oval with not much left in the first half.
Rovers with a little bit of space, still inside their attacking 50. A bit of a squadron of bees.
Yeah, gee, Spenceley really turned it on
Hive
here for
of bees, rather.
Spenceley really turned it on here for the Magpies today.
Renmark trying to work this one through, and we'll go again.
Not bad effort in his maiden prelim final.
Yes, that's right. He might not have played in this game before, but he knows how to get it done in big finals.
Well, the Rovers haven't been in a prelim since 2018.
Oh, he just went to ground there, Burgermeister. But I think he might have been looking for a 25. But
Gets the free kick against Gardery, so he brings it across to the commentary position wing, and that's it. There's half time. Renmark 3-6-24, leading Waikerie 3-4-22. A 2-point lead to the Renmark Rovers at half time in the knockout prelim final.
It's set to be a big second half. We'll go back to Trevor Scott in the Connectors 5RM Sideline View studio and find out what is happening around the grounds. Trevor Scott, back to you.
Yeah.
5RM.
Well, let's go back to the boys at Renmark. We've got a game on down there, Lachlan Winnell.
Certainly do, Trevor Scott. Just 3 points the margin. We've had a little bit of clarification on the scoreboard, and currently Renmark Rovers 3-6-24, Waikerie 3-3-21. Nobby Norton and Lockie Dander alongside me. Nobby and Lockie Dand, that scoreboard indiscretion, we've got to the bottom of that.
Yes, we have. It did actually go through, but a free kick was paid by the umpire before it could be all clear. So whilst it did go through, and one goal umpire waved it at the other end, but the one at the officiating end did not wave it. So it was never counted as an official score, which takes the margin to 3 points at half-time. Goal kickers for both sides. Declan Johnson for Renmark, Declan Johnson with one, Lucas White with one, and Nick Gillard with the last goal of the first half. For Waikerie, goal scorers Byron Sumner with a single, Lachlan Nitschke with a goal, and Cade Hilton with the current clubhouse leader for the goal of the day, for the Berry Better goal of the day with a great goal in that second quarter. Better players for both sides. For Renmark, I've got ticks next to Josh Vader, Jared Rowe, Harrison Brown, Ricky Garrett, Dan Wolford, Jake Anspatch, a couple of nice marks in the back play that quarter, and the White boys, Bailey and Lucas. For Waikerie, Jake Spenceley's probably best to field, followed closely by Cade Hilton, who had an absolute purple patch in that quarter and single-handedly lift Waikerie back in front for a while. Jared B was solid. Lockie Nitschke has been hitting up all day. Byron Sumner dangerous when he gets near the footy. Dylan Gollins solid across half-back along with Tristan Geeman. And Ben Smith getting a bit of it in the middle. Lockie Dan, what's your thoughts on the first half?
Well, before Tristan Geeman went off injured, I think he was suffering from leather poisoning. He had an absolute bucket load of it in that first quarter in particular. So him and Sumner had injury scares in that second quarter, but they're back out there now. So, it's really just going to come down to who wants it more in this last quarter. I mentioned earlier that in the two games here earlier this year, and even the Gil Lehman Cup in Waikerie, that Renmark had started well and that built them their lead. But you've only got a 3-point margin at the moment at half-time. So this is all to play for, and who's going to go through to meet Palmer at Panther Park next week?
Yeah, and I reckon that you're right, and I reckon that Renmark only found that lead at half-time through a little lapse in concentration. They're right at the end of that second quarter where Renmark basically took the ball coast to coast to Gillard, and it wasn't, and it was just through a lapse in concentration. It allowed Renmark three uncontested kicks that ended up with Gillard, who kicked that goal and put them back in front at half-time. But other than that, I thought Waikerie may have had more possession. Yeah,
and I feel we're working in waves of confidence from both sides. At the start of the game, Renmark started really well, and then Waikerie brought it back, and that continued at the beginning of the second quarter in the first half, and then it went back the way of Renmark. So it's all about momentum swings in this game so far.
Too true. Quickly, the Hoops Auto at full drive sent a young charger. Look, Bailey and Lucas White certainly in the mix, but probably couldn't discount Lockie Nitschke in contention this afternoon as well.
No, so too true, Lockie, and not just because his name's Lachlan, but because he has some strong football from him in that second quarter, and he kicked a great goal as well. So, he's certainly not going to die wondering, as they say in the classics. And look, I think it's everything here. And what they say, fellas, the third quarter's the premiership quarter. In this case, it's getting to the grand final quarter.
24 plays 21. The Rovers currently leading by 3. Ball in the centre. We're about to get underway with the third quarter. Just 2 quarters of footy left for one of these teams this year, who will go to Panther Park next week in the grand final. It was a good tap. Vader taps back inboard. The Rovers look hungry. Dan Wolford picks it up well. Kicks into the attacking 50. Unable to mark it. In front of Gillard. Gillard off the deck. Turns and kicks. Minor score.
Takes the score to 3-7-25. Renmark leading Waikerie 3-3-21. 4-point lead to the Rovers. Interesting matchup in the middle there. Spenceley from Waikerie with Josh Vader, the coach. And Josh Vader, I think he's taken it upon himself to cover him in the middle of the ground.
Kick out didn't go well from the Magpies. The Rovers now bring it back inboard. It spills out of bounds. 10 around from the goals.
And the other matchup I'm seeing, boys, is it looks like Heusler is picking up Tim Wolford, and looks like Jared Rowe matching up on Cade Hilton. So
I reckon he's on Matt Wolford, Heusler. I'm just watching that one.
Yeah, sorry, Matt. Yeah.
though, driving it out now. Speaking of Heusler, with the clearance himself, gets it on the boot, kicks it up to the far wing. Intercept from Bailey White. He was tackled, holding the ball.
Play to advantage. Out comes Waikerie with the football, drives it forward. I think that was Hahn that time. Looking for Miller. He's gone forward to be the key forward. And I'll tell you one thing, Craig Miller will provide the Magpies with is that's a contest.
Yeah, very close to getting that ball out to an open Byron Sumner who would have walked into the goal. So, yeah, big moment there.
I think the Waikerie coach, Kilsby, has changed things up in the Waikerie forward line. In the first quarter, first half, they only had Hahn and Sumner forward. Now they put a big fella in amongst them.
Ball 45 out from the Magpies' goal. Kicking to the hospital end.
Up it goes. Burgermeister, it was Miller through for the ball. Kicked out of the pack by Waikerie towards their goals. Miller back over it again. See the contest he's given them, fellas?
They're trying to keep...
Yeah.
Renmark were trying to paddle it out, and they managed to do so, 40 around from goal, but Waikerie did their best to keep that inboard.
Yeah, Jack Burgermeister there over the footy as well, so a couple of fierce competitors there in the Waikerie forward line.
Ball in, inside, attacking 50 for the Magpies. Rovers trying to clear it out. Josh Vader says, get behind me, boys. We're going to clear this one out, and they do.
Back to Vader, looks up, comes down the wing again, but can only find Brad Burgermeister on the centre wing for Waikerie. Holds up the Renmark attack, takes the ball, now look to drive Waikerie back into the forward lines.
Kicks up to the top of the 50, looking for a target. No one able to mark it. Tim Blight for the Rovers just bombs it out of there. AJ Hem propped, managed to get a hand on it, but it spills out. Now Jared B busts through and picks it up. Does the U-bolt. Now kicks to the top of the 50 arc. The Magpies on the attack. Unable to mark it. Tim Blight for the Rovers is going to run onto it and clear it out. Handballs over the top. Finds Wolford. Inboard. The Magpies look hungry again, and they might pick this one up. Kings of the intercept this afternoon, the Magpies.
There's been a lot of turnovers. Umpire paying a free kick there to Renmark, which will hold up Wakerie's attack. Here we go, coming off half-back. There's an interesting attempted shepherd there on Craig Miller by a little Renmark player, and I think it might have been Ricky Garrett. He certainly didn't lack any courage. Renmark with the footy, driving it forward towards their half-forward line, towards Declan Johnson, but in front of him, Sam Chambers tries to get a handle on it, and he gets muscled to the ground by AJ Hem, and that'll be a free kick for the Waikerie Magpies at half-back.
Solid around the play, AJ Hem. Kicks up to the far wing, over the back of the pack. There's Tim Blight again, knew where to read it. Wobbly old kick away, though, and no one really able to take advantage. Magpies trying to clear this out. A bomb kick into the attacking 50 of the Rovers. Burgermeister punches it forward.
Yeah,
Probably
nice,
could have taken it. But
nice passage play, a couple of handballs, and the big fella, Tristan Geeman, finds Cade Hilton on the half-back flank for Waikerie. He looks up, stabs it short into the middle, finds Dylan Gollan again. He's had quite a handy game across half-back. Nice kick up towards the big fella from Waikerie.
Burgermeister gets it, handball out to Jared B. Looking for Miller on the run. He got a hand on it, but it spilled out. And now Ricky Garrett holds it inboard. I think umpire says no, it wasn't out of bounds. Kick up to the far wing, intercept from Jack Burgermeister.
Renmark unable to drive the ball over centre with any sort of confidence. Waikerie cutting him off. This time, Geeman with the footy, but nowhere to go. Looks up in the middle. Ball smothered by his Renmark opponent, but he's back on it hard. Anyone's ball here and a hard ball to win. Renmark with players behind the ball now. Handball out to Dan Wolford, across to Matt Wolford. Looks up, probably looking for Tim Wolford, but no. Finds Jared Rowe at half forward for Renmark.
And there's someone who's cool under pressure every day of the week.
He's motioned, he's going to have a shot at goal. And Cade Hilton up on the mark. Rowe has got the job of running with Hilton, and this is the best way you can hurt a player when you're running with them, is kick a goal on them. Make them defend you.
What's he going to be kicking from all of 50?
Probably drop short, I would think.
Have to go for the left-hand post or the right-hand post this end? I don't know. I think he fancies himself here.
Gives it a good roost on the boot. It's got the distance. Taps still inboard. Can the Rovers make something out of it? They can't.
Point conceded there by Sam Chambers. Might not have got away with that one in the AFL. I don't think he's under a heap of pressure, but he did knock it through. Geeman brings the ball back in off half-back, goes out the scoreboard side. Up goes, and there's I thought a mark to Dan Wolford, but off hands, and now it will be a boundary, and that will be a ball up.
I've got 26 playing 21 on the Value Care scoreboard.
Yeah, they're just moving it now on the
3-7.
26 to 21 on the Value Care scoreboard. My calculations, I think 3-8. Local scoreboard attendants, I believe, have missed it behind.
Yep. Bit of indecision out that side, and umpire points for a free kick this time.
I thought you meant the scoreboard attendants
No.
having a bit of indecision.
Oh, there's a bit there as well. This time the umpire points to Waikerie to get the free kick, which was Jake Spencer. He shoots the ball forward to Ben Smith, to his teammate Ben Smith from Waikerie. He drives Waikerie into attack and finds Jack Burgermeister, getting a bit of it across half forward this quarter. Shoots the handball out towards B, I reckon, and he hits Craig Miller on the chest in the forward line. He's becoming quite a factor up there in the forward line. Couldn't get it to his teammate. The ball runs out in front of Byron Sumner. Will be a boundary throw in on the 50-metre line in the Waikerie forward line.
Yeah, this is just exactly where Waikerie would want it at the moment. They've got it where they want it. It's 50 out from goal, so you need to get your best runners onto the ball.
Back to the scoreboard, there is a bit of confusion there because they got a bit of mathematical confusion. They've got 3-7 adding up to 37. I don't think that's quite right.
No.
So a ball up just outside. The Magpies attacking 50. It's going to be the Rovers that spill this one out.
Young fellas that have a calculator on their phone probably don't know where to find it.
I know where to find TikTok, maybe not the calculator. Tap over the back. The Rovers now try to move this one forward through half forward. We're going to get another stoppage, I would have thought.
Yeah, quite confusing. Hopefully we can get it sorted by three-quarter time, boys.
26 plays 21.
Because you don't want this happening in the last quarter of a prelim knockout final.
No.
Not just from the spectator point of view, but from a player point of view.
Well, you look up at the scoreboard and you see 3-7, 37. I think you'd probably think better of the situation.
Yeah, hopefully. Ball going forward into the Renmark forward lines, but Waikerie with the ball again. This time Geeman again, this time forced onto his left foot.
Ooh.
And could only chip it up, and I reckon that's Vader with the footy in it,
It is nearly a bit of friendly fire there from Caden Gartree that nearly ran through him. But
Vader has taken it upon himself, Lockie, as you called, to try and get Renmark into the grand final.
Up to inside deep in attack for the Rovers, but the Magpies managed to clear it out. No, they don't. There's Rowe. Handball out. Tim Wolford, can he run onto this one? He managed to pick it up off the deck. Tim Wolford's kick coming back. Gillard the target. 3-on-1, couldn't get there.
He had three Magpies and the goal line to beat there. I don't think he was ever going to mark that.
And the big arm of Tristan Geeman came across the pack and punched it through for yet another behind. Renmark are certainly going to get to their 14 points. Not sure if they'll get the 6 goals they got last week. They're going to get the 14 points, though, fellas. They're well on the way to that. Ball comes in from Geeman, cross half back, looking for and claims the mark.
Stephen Braun, I think it is.
Steve Braun, yep. Slips catch, really. Probably, if you were batting, you'd probably want to see that on the big screen. You'd be challenging that one. Braun shoots it up the wing, but this time can only find Zach Gartery in the back play. He looks up, chips it across, finds Thorpe out in his own in the middle of the ground. He shoots it across again to Tim Wolford. No close to the goal, but Freer shoots a short pass towards Matt Wolford. Cut out this time.
Sam Chambers, pretty courageous this afternoon.
Oh, nice tackle.
I
think
Jenky wrapped up.
Gee, for me, boys, that's holding the ball. He had plenty of opportunity. He spun him around the full 360. But the umpire not trying to insert himself in the game here, just keeping things going. Up goes Burgermeister in the ruck for Waikerie. Hits it forward, but only as far as Thorpe at the wing for Renmark. He shoots a handball across and puts Ricky Garrett right under the pump.
Yeah, hospital handball, I think they call those in these parts of the world.
So that'll be a boundary, that'll be a ball up again. Up that goes. Burgermeister in ruck with Gartery. No one able to get it. Spencer with the ball. Takes time, turns around, kicks the mongrel punt forward. Hits Jack Burgermeister on the chest for Waikerie. He cuts it out of mid-air, but only as far as Brody Rover is having a fair game. Shoots her out wide to Matt Wolford on the wing. Takes a bounce. Takes a second bounce. Handballs over the top.
Couple of quick handballs. There was Jenky back in the action. Now driving forward for Gillard, but that's missed. That's out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, clever footy there by Tom Sheldon.
This calculated instruction play of Renmark, the Wakerie's chaos ball kick it and it doesn't compute.
No.
There's no answers for this.
No, Waikerie are better over the footy at the moment. Their contest ball's good, but for Vader picking up kicks across centre and driving them back in, they'd be in a bit of trouble, the Rovers.
If you're fast and fit enough, you can keep on top of this.
Beavers having a rest on the bench.
The question you'd have to ask Waikerie at the moment is the lack or the low amount of score they have at the moment. They're 3-3. Renmark could be a lot further ahead.
Yep.
Inboard to Bailey White. He ran over the top, went to the ground. Umpire's going to say, I'll have it just inside the attacking 50 left forward flank.
And in addition to that, Waikerie the question for Waikerie and Nick Kilsby will be, where do the goals come from in this last quarter and a half?
Well, I'll tell you, someone who hasn't kicked a goal yet and kicked 6 last Sunday is Mitch Hahn.
Yep.
And I think he'll be the one they'll be looking for to put some score on the board.
So a ball up, just on attacking 50 for the Rovers. Doesn't go too far, we'll go again.
Yeah, game sort of gone into a little bit of a stalemate here at the moment. Both sides looking to move it and unable to move it out of the pack.
Just hitting the 12-minute mark of the third quarter. Good tap for the Rovers. But the Magpies have got the answers. They were there.
Not 15 metres, play on. Out comes Hilton with it. Couldn't get the handball out and gets caught holding the ball.
Oh, Josh Vader wanted to take that one on, but umpire Charlton said, nope, bring that back.
I think Vader has turned the notch up a little bit on his game. Here he comes, plays on, drives Renmark into the forward line, looking for Gillard. And he takes a clever mark against Exon. All his experience to basically hold him off the drop of the ball.
And that is a contender. We haven't had we haven't had many today, but that's a contender, I think, for the BTS calling mark of the day, to an extent.
Tell you where else it falls in. It might fall into the big moment of
there
the day.
There hasn't been a goal this quarter. We are waiting to see this. So, Nick Gillard kicking from 25 out.
Ooh, he's given it a fair roost, and the umpire's stayed under it. I reckon that's a goal.
And he's got it.
And that's it. That's Gillard's second goal and the 7th goal of the game, and Renmark's 4th. They go to 4-8. Is it 4-9?
4-9.
39?
Yep. 33.
33, sorry, leading Renmark 3-3-21. So out to a 2-goal lead or a 1-goal 6 lead, whichever way you want to frame that up. But they're basically 2 goals in front of Waikerie, and you've got a feeling that one more, they break it open.
Yeah, this is at breaking strain at the moment.
We know the floodgates of the Rovers can open pretty quick.
Yep.
And when it does, it's pretty big.
And looking back into the middle of the ground, Hahn gone into the middle for Waikerie, trying to burst this ball, and Macrath in there too. Macrath in a more of a defensive position, I think, on row.
It's fiver in football for the Riverland Motor Group.
Hilton comes out of the middle with it. Looks one way, looks the other, goes onto the right foot out towards the scoreboard wing and running onto its game and at pace. Couldn't quite get clear.
Vader got half a hand on him, and it was enough to get him to prop. Lucas White picked it up off the deck, bombed it long. That's going to wobble out of bounds. Hilton tried to chase it, but boundary line beat him.
Waikerie looking for that because Geeman had run forward 50 metres forward. He's still coming back to his position. But, hey, it's a prelim final, and it's all about attack.
Well, I said that this game's gone in momentum swings, but now the question begs for Waikerie, where's their moment coming in this last quarter to get it back their way?
Ball in, didn't go that far, and we'll go again.
In a game where 4 goals leads 3, 2 quick ones can be the difference.
Yep. Just shades of the 2023 grand final here.
Yep, Sumner in onto the ball, tries to get clear. Ball goes to Spencer, you can't break 3. Slung to the ground, quite a heavy tackle, but fair and just, and the ball will be thrown up again here at half forward for Renmark.
No ruckman got a hand on it. Rowe tried to pick it up, but didn't get that far.
Got a feeling, boys, that something's going to happen here.
15 minutes gone on the Barmera Club clock. Good handball out to some space. There's Vader, the former Central District League player. Kicks into the attacking 50. Looks for another former Central District player in Gillard, but it didn't make it. And now it's Sam Chambers that bombs it out of there for the Magpies, and they have another crack at it. Renmark get their hands on it. Had a lot of time to get rid of it. Now Vader again. He's best on ground in my book so far.
There's Dan Wolford, was it? Or Garrett?
Garrett, I reckon.
Bomb that one forward. See, Renmark have changed their play a little bit. They're going a lot more direct to the top of the goal square, or 20 metres out from the goal square.
Garrett bumps him out of bounds. I'm seeing Garrett starting to lift a bit, Nobby. You spoke about big game players.
Yeah, Renmark have come out with the plan here to sort of put more pressure on the Waikerie defence by going to the same spot every time. White warming up, Bailey White warming up to come back on, heading towards the bus stop. Although he's the only one at it at this stage. Normally with both the top sides, Renmark and the Barmah Roos, there's normally a chain of interchange every time.
He'd be one of the fittest players in the league, Bailey White.
Oh, nice mark again, and look who it is, fellas, Josh Vader. Drives it back into the Renmark forward line, looking for Gillard. Gillard gets one bite at it, couldn't pull it in. Ball comes loose in the pack. This time Declan Johnson slams it on the boot towards goal, and nearly pulled in by Gartery, but can't kick the goal.
Oh, Gartery got a soccer on the ground, and it was wobbling back around. It was racing to the boundary line, and Lucas White tried to kick it inboard, but somewhat pumped it over a little bit easier.
Had a bit of an area with it, I think. And to bring it back in will be Zach Still from Waikerie Magpies, right against the point post. Lots of players pointing to drive, and he drives it out to the half-back line. It won't go out of bounds. Touched by Dan Wolford and over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in right on the forward 50 line of Renmark.
Yeah, Jack Burgermeister worked really, really hard there to make sure that ball was touched over the line as the bus stop's gotten a little bit more forward.
Oh, yeah, it is. There's 3 at the stop. Here we go. Cooper Macrath tries to handball it out, but only as far as Jared Rowe, who once he grabs it is immediately pounced on by Macrath and Hilton. Another ball up here for just a bit happening off the ball.
Yeah, the double bump there was on between Lockie Nitschke and the Wolfords.
And his player ends up with it, Dan Wolford.
Now Gartery, he's got a bit of space in the pocket. Can he reel it in? Handballs over the back. Johnson does the back turn. Finds a teammate in White. He gets a cookie around the corner. It's bouncing. Gillard punched it forward.
Wonderful
now
footy.
Gillard goes to the pocket.
There's your
turns,
goal of the day.
Kicks. Very better goal of the day.
There it is, fellas.
And doesn't he love it too? It lets the crowd know. Rovers by 3 goals.
It's almost as if he deliberately puts the easy ones through the behinds and makes the goals even harder.
Look, it's a big moment of the day too, fellas, because he not only made the contest around the foot, he brought it to ground. He was the first one onto it, and then he dodged around a couple and didn't have time to line it up, so he couldn't really miss it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. The other thing with that was Lockie Nitschke's putting a tag on Dan Wolford.
Yep.
And that last stoppage, Matt Wolford bumped Lockie Nitschke off the tag.
It was good play by Dan Wolford. He shook that tackle with the help of his brother.
Which we've seen before, to the point where Matt Wolford got a yellow card.
But he kept at the ball. You can see the play.
Didn't.
This time, Vader again with the ball out of the centre bounce, drives Renmark forward yet again. Fellas, I think if they haven't opened, the floodgates are just about to flip open here.
Magpies taking it to the pocket, still inboard. Johnson trying to hold it in. He does. We'll get a ball up. Right forward pocket for the Rovers.
If this was a dyke, they've got their finger in all the leaking points and they have got none left. Gillard coming from the field for a bit of a rest.
39 plays 21 on the Value Care scoreboard. Deep in the third quarter.
Has kicked 2 goals this quarter. I can't help but thinking they're just giving him a little bit of spell, ready for a bit more of that magic in the last quarter. But he has turned this game with the last 3 goals of the game, fellas. He kicked the last one in the first half and he's kicked both goals in this quarter.
Now a ball up, still in the Rovers' forward pocket.
Yeah, you didn't have that Waikerie player there on that occasion.
Yeah, Jenke put him on the ground. It was Spenceley again. You have to say, fellas, is high up in Wakerie's better players. Along with the fella he just kicked it to. He's running out of the half-back line at the moment, Tristan Geeman.
And it just puts it out in front of Nitschke to run onto. Manages to pick it up. Bombs it long, looking for a target.
Lovely mark there.
I think that's Jared B.
Yeah.
Jared B turns off the deck, leaves his opponent. A wobbly old kick along the ground, inboard. The Magpies have still got this one just. That was Glacken to the pocket. And the Rovers take the intercept mark.
Yeah, look, nice passage of play from the Magpies, but not with any surety. You know, they kept moving it forward, but not with too much confidence. And that ball was chopped out there by Bailey White.
Ripping mark.
Kicks up to half-back. Magpies with the intercept mark. That's Jack Burgermeister. Gets it on quickly to B. B drives it into attacking 50, looking for Sumner. That's gone out of bounds.
Yeah, they can't quite get it to the right side of the ground. They need to bring it across to the middle more. Time ticking away here in the third quarter.
Yeah, nearing 21 minutes, and it's a 18-point lead in favour of the Rovers, and they're not far away from booking their spot with the Roos.
Oh, Nitschke handballed that. I reckon he could have been up for a shot at goal, really. Ball comes out, this time to Spenceley, who ducks the shoulder in, looking for the over the shoulder, but the umpire is way too wise for that.
Yeah, too quick to it, as you say.
And he was trying the old Ginnivan there, and it didn't quite pay off for him.
5 football for the Riverland Motor Group. Everest and Ranger in stock for immediate delivery.
Waikerie doing their utmost here to get on the scoreboard, but Renmark resisting all urges. This time AJ Hem grabs the footy, shoots it out, can't get it clear of the pack. Gradually getting a bit of territory. Ball being held up this time between Lucas White and Nitschke, and it'll be a ball up.
The Seagulls are loving the Renmark Oval this afternoon.
Yeah, ball going up again. Not much time left in this third quarter. And I know at the start of it, boys, we said it might be the premiership quarter. I've got a feeling it could be. 3-goal lead will be enough.
Burgermeister for the Magpies doing the ruck work. The Rovers get a handball out. Can they score one last goal? Dan Wolford overshot it. Now the Magpies managed to go on the rebound. They're going to have to be quick. Buzzer beats them. 5-9-39, the Rovers leading the Waikerie Magpies 3-3-21. Three-quarter time. What could have been a big fourth quarter to come here from Renmark. Preliminary final 2024 for the Riverland Football League. Trevor Scott, over to you in the Connectus Sideline View studio.
Yeah, it's full on, guys. It really is. It is full on out at Murray Valley Football Netball League as well at Blanchetown at the moment. It's Blanchetown's final reach 6-5-41 to Brownswell 12-11-83, 9 minutes into the final quarter. River Murray Football League. It is also their qualifying final today. Maipo taking on Southern Mallee Suns, currently at the end of the third quarter, I think it is, 10-7-67. Maipo to Suns 2-6-18. Lachlan Winnell.
Thank you, Trevor Scott. Three-quarter time here in the 2024 Riverland Football League preliminary final for season 2024. Just said that. It is a 18-point lead to the Renmark Rovers. Just quickly, Waikerie Magpies trail. Lockie Dan is just on the ground at the moment. He went to the address from the Rovers. Lockie Dan, what did you hear?
Contest. The word contest was all about the Renmark huddle from Josh Vader on the three-quarter time break there, and that is what they're going to be focusing on. They've got to get low to the ground, and they'll come out on top.
Yeah, and he's not only telling them to do that, he's also leading from the front. Great quarter, that quarter from him, and a great quarter from Nick Gillard, who kicked both goals and has kicked the last 3 goals of the match to lead, for Renmark to lead 5-9. Lockie, is that right? 5-9, 39 to 3-3, 21.
The Value Care scoreboard.
Goal kickers Gillard with 3 goals for the Rovers. Singles to Declan Johnson, Lucas White. For Waikerie, all singles, Cade Hilton, Lachlan Nitschke and Byron Sumner. Well, here it is, boys. 1 quarter to go in the season for one of these teams. If you're going to go, it's going to be your last quarter. You've got to go down fighting. And look, for Waikerie, they've got to kick. Well, they're 3 goals adrift. They've got to kick 4 in this quarter to win the game and hold Renmark scores, which I don't think they're going to.
Well, we have seen they can score quickly. They just need to convert and take their opportunities. So if they can get on top, they haven't had their momentum swing in the third quarter. Can they get it in this last quarter?
Hilton and Hahn, both, and Sumner, all starting in the forward line for Waikerie. So all the aces up forward, although I see Hilton now running up onto the ball and taking his opponent, Morgan Edwards, with him. So he's got a direct opponent. Ball comes out the middle. Matt Wolford shoots it forward. Punched away from the Waikerie defender by Ricky Garrett. Through comes Gillard. Dodges a couple onto the left foot. And who does he find? All on his own. Who ran straight on from that play. And see, that's what you can do, boys. When you're 3 goals up, you can sneak off the back because it's not that important.
Yeah, Declan Johnson, the player that managed to just take the easiest of overhead marks.
Well, he ran forward regardless, and all of a sudden, Gillard, he probably ran forward knowing that Gillard would get his hands on the ball, dodged a couple of players, wonderful kick. Left-hand post, Lockie Dan?
Yep, you've got to go to the left-hand post.
Here's a right footer, though, and he does that, and through it goes, boys, and that's his second goal for the game and the first for this last quarter. It takes Renmark out to the 6-9-45, leading Waikerie 3-3-21, 4-goal lead. I'm thinking too much for Waikerie to overcome. However, anything can happen.
Yeah, they're a long way back, but there is a lot of time. But yeah, an absolute hill to climb.
So what does Mick Kilsby do here?
I think he's got to get his main aces out of the forward line and into the midfield. It's going to be one, as Vader said, it's going to be one at the contest. You need all your best players in the midfield. There's no point wasting them sitting off a half-forward flank.
No. Brad Burgermeister up high, but this time Gartery hit the hand on the ball first time. Jared Rowe with the footy, winning the hard ball, can't get it clear. Out comes Spencer. He's had a great game, breaks a couple tackles. Oh, bit unfortunate for him. He'd broken the first tackle, looked to get on with it, but got hammered before he could get a handball out. Free kick to Renmark, this time to Matt Wolford, the experienced one of the wonderful Wolfords.
Yeah, that's right.
Gets a foot on the boot. Gillard the target, but Geeman for the Magpies got a hand in there, and we'll have a stoppage on forward flank for the Magpies. Just on 2 minutes 20 gone. Fourth quarter, Riverland footy on 5RM for McDonald's at Renmark.
Gillard playing a very, he's got some closing speed and playing a clever game. He never tried to take possession, just wanted to make sure the ball came to ground. Up it goes again, this time in the way. Number 38, Morgan Edwards for Renmark. Takes the mark. Will take the kick just forward of centre. Will drive Renmark deep into attack.
It's the boot to ball. And good mark from Caden Gartery.
There it is, fellas.
Deep in attack.
There's the old saying, the big fellas don't get any smaller in the last quarter.
No, very true. And I tell you what, and it looks like Renmark will go through to the 2024 decider.
Early call from Lachlan Dan.
Yes, but he's going to be a hard one for Josh Vader to leave out if they do go through. Drives this one long.
Ball's on the way.
To the goal line.
Touched.
Renmark 6-10-46, leading this game comfortably against Waikerie 3-3-21. 25-point margin to the Rovers. And they really don't have to hurry here with the ball. Waikerie are the ones that, they're not only is the scoreboard their enemy, but the clock is as well.
Magpies now trying to drive this one out of defence. A couple of rushed handballs. Tristan Geeman goes the barrel. The switch could be on. If they can get a clean pick-up here, they might be able to run onto this one. They're trying to paddle this one forward. They're not having the best of luck this afternoon. That's Naish Andrew that tried to run onto it. Now they get a couple of hands back on it. Tristan Geeman's still over there.
Sumner sold the dummy and then handball to his opponent, which was Jenke. Shoot the ball, comes out to Vader, who I reckon, boys, has been the difference in this second half. Shoots the ball deep in the Renmark forward line. Rowe tries to get a handle on it, can't get it clear of the pack, and it'll be a ball up 20 metres out from the Renmark goal.
Yeah, for me, Vader's certainly going to be in the 1-2-3 this afternoon, but that's just me. I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
Lockie Dan from the Murray Pioneers doing it today, so
I'll put it on him that it's got to be the player who has the most effect on the outcome of the game.
It comes with a lot of rules, this job.
They're getting more and more every time, mate.
Ball up, 30 out from the Rovers' goal, but it's Spenceley for the Magpies that gets the clearance and kicks it into the centre square. Rovers trying to work this one through, and they managed to pick up the intercept.
Tim Wolford drives them forward.
Spectacular mark. No, it wasn't. AJ Hem front and centre. Turns and kicks long. No one able to mark it. Still a loose footy in the attacking 50. Jared B for the Magpies just bombs it long to no one. And Dan Wolford for the Renmark Rovers in a foot race should be able to win that one and picks it up. Has a couple of minutes for a cup of tea, then gets a handball away. Taken pretty late, but umpire says play on.
Yeah, that was Nitschke. Took him. That was his direct opponent, but what the young fella didn't realise is he'd let him get 30 metres away from him to get an easy football in the first place. There's no point knocking him on his backside once he's got it and gets rid of it. Got to be with him. Here he goes again. I'll tell you what, though, young Lockie Nitschke certainly hasn't given up the ghost. He is trying as hard as he can.
Holding the ball against him.
Trying too hard.
Could be one of the Hoops Auto young chargers this afternoon.
This time Garrett with the footy looks up, shoots it across to Tim Blight for Renmark, who will hold play up here in the middle of the ground. Has Trevor Thorpe waving over towards us. And he's not looking for a killer python, he was looking for the footy. He looks up, moves across even further to Bailey White. Renmark got the luxury of the clock and the lead to just move the footy around. He drives it into the forward lines looking for Rowe. Couldn't mark it. B takes the ball at halfback. Had a pretty serviceable game, Jared B.
Yeah, he fights hard each week, and that's why he's one of the premier midfielders in the competition.
Out the back it comes, young Bailey White. Ooh, that was an accident. Accidentally taken by the foot by Mitch Hahn.
Managed to shake the tackle, but flew at the same time. Dishes it back to Harrison Brown. Brown, 45 kick to Harry Beavers. Handballs back to Bailey White. Drives it up the line. Looking for a target, but it's found the Magpies. Hits the deck. Rowe dives on it. Hungry for the footy as always.
Waikerie playing an ideal position there to take the mark, but heard the voice. I think he heard Tristan Geeman's voice and left it for him when he could have taken the mark. But bit of confusion. Up the ball goes again in the Renmark forward line. First hand on the ball, Jack Burgermeister from Waikerie, but the Renmark goes to a Renmark play, but he can't get clear of the pack, and that'll be another ball up.
7 minutes gone on the Barmera Club clock. Fourth quarter, 5 football for the Riverland Motor Group. Tap on the painted 50.
Tell you what, fellas, I think the umpiring today has been very consistent, and if I'm picking them for next week, maybe you let these three go around again.
Yeah, you'd be close. I reckon Todd Charlton will almost certainly get a gig.
Yeah.
Back inboard. Now it's Garrett on the painted 50. Kicks a goal.
Here he is.
No one's home. That's done it. And Ricky Garrett puts his name in the goal kickers for the Rovers.
You can rack the queue now, fellas. And as we talked about during the call, Ricky Garrett, a big game player, does not disappoint. More action at the bus stop, fellas. 2 more Renmark players to come back on. Liam Jackson and Lucas White this time. And on comes Tom Sheldon for Waikerie, straight into the middle. He replaces Brad Burgermeister, who's given his all in the big man department, and up against both the Gardery boys. He's been more than serviceable. and also had good help from Craig Miller, called in off the boundary, off the bees this week for his first game in A-grade this year, and he certainly did not disappoint.
For the Rovers, I reckon, all bar injury, this is a grand final team.
31-point lead to the Rovers here in the last quarter, and they look to go on. Waikerie won't stop trying, though. Ball comes free. It's Tim Bevan, Waikerie skipper, trying to get free of the pack with the ball. Couldn't break free. It'll be a ball up. Waikerie side of the centre circle. Up goes the ball. This time, Waikerie first hand on the ball. It's Jack Burgermeister. Can't get clear. Caden Cartery in there against him.
So ball up in the centre square. Slightly advantage to the Waikerie end. Spenceley was wrapped up. Got a handball over the top. Taken high. It was Lockie Nitch. Oh, sorry.
There's Dan Wolford.
Dan Wolford by Lockie Nitch.
Yeah, by his direct opponent. And he kind of just leaned into it, didn't he? He gets up, shoots the ball out wide here to the commentary side to Tim Blight. He's taken plenty of time.
He's had an outstanding year, Tim Blight. He's been one of the best defenders in the competition in his role, because he's not one of the defenders that sort of roam around off half-back. He takes the big jobs and does it well usually.
Through goes Bailey White, looks for his coach in Josh Vader, wins the hard ball, puts his head over it, and tell you who else is in there tackling him is Lockie Nitschke again, and gee whiz, he's been one of the hardest workers for the Pies, and also a young charger. Through goes Heusler, looking forward. Oh, nice mark under pressure to the Waikerie player.
I think it's Harry Glacken.
Yeah, gets straight up, has to, over the back to Byron Sumner, plays on. Waikere's first goal since half-time takes them to 4-3, 27, trailing Renmark 6-10-52. Are they still in it? Just...
Oh, maybe
10 minutes played.
Look, you'd need two pretty quickly, but not only is it their first goal of the
second half,
it's their first score of the second half, I'm led to believe. So, yeah, that's they got the monkey off their back. Maybe they were just stuck on 21.
Yeah, that sort of play is what they've got to keep going. If they're going to peg the back, is clear that forward line out, leave Byron Sumner in there one-on-one. He will beat most players going around one-on-one, particularly if he can get that ball to ground. And Cooper Macra's pretty dangerous up forward as well. But Waikerie got to get it out of the middle.
Back in the centre it is. Caden Gartree taps, finds Matt Wolford. Got a handball out to Vader. Vader bombs it to the top of the 50. Umpires called a free kick to the Magpies on half-back. It's going to be Tristan Geeman. Didn't see what that was for. Maybe a push or holding.
Geeman lining up for about his 35th kick for the day.
Yeah. Drives it inboard to the centre. Running with the flight of the ball.
Yeah, nice kick. And that's Sam Chambers. He's had a little bit in the second half. Drive it forward.
25, Liam Jackson. He went into the protected area there. Yeah. He looked like... I could see what he was thinking. He wanted Sam Chambers to play on,
and then
but
snag him.
He went too close before the whistle for play on had blown. As Sam Chambers, would he be within range here or just on his journey, Nobby?
Nah, normally across. I mean, even if he gets the journey, I'm not sure how accurate he is. Hello, more people to the bus stop. Another 4 Renmark players heading to the bus stop.
This one might need one of those bendy buses.
Yep, he's got to go right-hand side here.
Ball's on the way.
He's giving it a ride.
Chambers.
I tell you what, fellas. Whoa.
Over the back, didn't make the distance, dished out from the Rovers. Bailey White runs onto it, kicks it up to Rowe on half-back. Bailey White, second, third efforts, just hard at it, but it was Kate Hilton that had a crack at it as well. He kicks it back into the attacking 50. Now the Rovers through Rowe, who walks it over the boundary line and gets the ball in. Cool under pressure again.
I'll tell you what, fellas, you know who'll be enjoying this more than anyone here watching this today? The Barmah Monash Roos. To see two sides have to fight it out like this in that last quarter while you're sitting there having a spell. You get to see everything they got and you get to be rested up for next week. I think they'll be enjoying it.
The defensive kick still inside the attacking 50, but it's Jackson for the Rovers that bombs it out. Running for the boundary it is.
Ben Smith grabs the ball but can't keep it in.
Yeah.
Look, I think Waikerie are having, this is his last roll of the dice for the Waikerie Maggies, having a fair crack.
A trail by 25, just on 13 minutes played, fourth quarter. Good tap from Burgermeister, straight down the throat of Cooper Macruth. He kicks to the top of the 50, but the veteran Harry Beavis just pushes it out of there. This is his turf.
Chambers again, short pass, finds Hilton on the wing. Can't afford to muck around with it. Got to go down the middle, and he does. Beautiful kick to Heusler.
He wants to get and go. Runs to 45. Gives it everything. Offline.
Yeah, it's the right play. You've got to play on at all costs when you're trailing by 4 goals in the dying stages of the last quarter. You just got to push. Brown to bring this back in for Renmark. Harrison Brown plays on. Comes to commentary side. Wide kick looking for Caden Gartery, who can't pull it in. Does pull it in. Gee, I reckon it might have been one hand, one bounce, fellas.
Justin Board. He'll take it. Kicks down the line. No real target. Umpire's called holding. Waikerie free kick here.
Yeah, pretty obvious there. Zach Gartery had a handful of Zach Steele's jumper.
Yep, he needs to drive it forward, but just about every player behind the ball here. Through comes Exon with a big kick into the Waikerie forward lines. Lovely attempt at the mark by Jack Bergenheim. Could not quite bring it down. In over at Cooper Macrath. Can't get it free. That'll be a ball up. Wolford hatched that one in. That's Tim Wolford.
Not a lot of attempt.
I think you needed the old Guernsey and hand up. You know, the old rodeo tackle there to get hold of the umpire's attention.
Heusler grabbed it from the contest, tackled over the boundary, will get a ball in.
Umps doing the right thing here. They're not inserting themselves in the game at all, boys. Just letting them say, come on, play on, get on with it.
Bailey White coming off for a rest. Trevor Thorpe back on for the Rovers.
Gartery over the top. Yeah, finds Jenke. He can't get out of the pack lock here, and he's really struggling to get that ball to anyone clear, isn't he?
Having a crack this afternoon, Mitch Jenke. One of the Rovers that's had a bit more of a key position this year. Went to Vader, and that's just on the painted 50 a ball up. Is what we'll have.
He knows that the game's in his keeping and not to do anything silly. Hold it, let someone grab him, go for another ball up. Through goes Gartery, big hit out towards the Waikerie goals. Garrett first on, Dan Wolford first onto it. Tim Wolford running past. The wonderful Wolfords everywhere down there. Yeah. Umpire over speaking to the boundary. She seems a free kick. Yeah, seems to think it's a free kick. No, it's a throw in. Ooh, fellas. Well, umpire's decision is final. No correspondence will be entered into.
To Waikerie runner Troy Lehman trying to get the players' attention of some description here.
Through goes. Ooh. Yep, that's a free kick. That'll be a free kick to Jake Spenceley. He's had a fair game too today in his first prelim final. Not his first premiership or grand final, but his first prelim. Look, he's a long way out. He'd be looking to give this off to someone.
Yeah, but they've got to... He just has to get it in long and quickly.
Yeah, time's the enemy.
16 minutes played on the...
Goes the top. Look out, boys. It's giving it a nice old twist. Geeman almost pulls it in, but off hands and out of bounds in the forward pocket, Waikerie forward pocket for another ball in.
Probably the right idea. Probably the right idea. 16 and a half minutes played. Another ball in.
24-point advantage to the Renmark Rovers.
Game's not done yet.
Yeah, you say that because Waikerie are the sort of team that can get 2 in a minute if they can go bang bang, which they have done throughout the game.
You know, the most unfortunate thing for them was in the last 20 seconds of that last quarter, just after the siren went, Cade Hilton bombed a goal through after time, which maybe could have given them a little bit of momentum. But it's not to be.
Out of bounds, 70 around from goal for the Magpies.
Renmark with this game, I think, in their keeping, and on to Loxton North next week to play Barmah Monash in the grand final. And, another rematch.
Ball in the centre.
And they'll
flank, rather. So it's been a big afternoon, Nobby.
Yeah, they are a little bit more accurate today, the Rovers. 7-10 versus 6-14. Gradually turning that ship around, albeit the Titanic it is for their goal kicking.
Driving it out. Now the Magpies, they're going to have one last. Spenceley ran into the wall. He's going to get a free kick here.
Yeah, too
front on. Yep, that was there.
He's got to get on with it. Across the middle he comes, but who's waiting for it? Nick Gillard.
Spoiled by Chambers. Magpies get a couple of hands on this one. Heusler, he doesn't stop wondering. Yep. Kicks inside, attacking 50. Sport forward, no one was there front and centre for now the Rovers through Wolford, Tim and Trevor Harrison Brown.
Yep.
into the middle, but it's the Magpies that pick it up in the centre.
Yeah, every Renmark Rover behind centre here, holding on for the win.
Pushed forward. Smith for the Magpies tried to kick it forward, but he couldn't. Yeah. Now it's over to Gillard for the Rovers. Grandstand side, he got a kick in as he was getting tackled. Good mark by Caden Gartree.
Yeah, he's played all right since he's come up into the ones, hasn't he? Bus stop full again. On comes Rowe, comes straight on the ground. This kick goes to Trevor Thorpe, the veteran. He looks up and kicks it straight to Rowe. He's just come on the ground. Yeah, they'll just play the little game here just to keep it away from everyone. Hilton across in front of Gillard, cuts it out. Boundaries throw in coming up in the half-forward line for Renmark.
Garrett's probably done. Probably pack her up, I reckon.
Yeah.
18 or 19 minutes played.
Headband coming off here for Brodie Rover. He's racked the cue. Put the young fellas back on.
Interesting because the Rover veterans are all out there. Jared Rowe tackled Kate Hilton. Guernsey came up a bit high.
Yeah.
Play on advantage of the call. You got Blythe on half-back, but it's Braun for the Magpies that gets a kick. Sumner, can he get under this one? With the fly to the ball, he can.
Another goal.
Magpies aren't done yet. 18 points the margin.
Sumner's third goal and second for this quarter takes Waikerie to 5-4-34, trailing Renmark 17-52 by 3 goals. It's going to be just too much and not enough time. But look, I tell you what, Waikerie have been very gallant and they've kept coming.
Yeah. Don't stop. And that's the thing we've liked about the Magpies this year. They look like they're having fun.
Yeah, the problem.
Young lads are having a crack.
Problem for them is that Renmark, between the end of the second quarter and through that third quarter and even in the last quarter, have kicked 5 goals in a row. They kicked goals 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. The 5-goal burst. And at the end of the day, that's going to be the difference.
Back to the setup. Loose footy again. Heusler for the Magpies. Gets a kick away. Sumner couldn't quite rake it up. Now Kate Hilton. He's got a rip Guernsey, but doesn't stop. Gets the ball on quickly. Finds Braun at half forward. Hilton screaming for it. Kicks it into the attacking 50. It's a wobbly old kick.
What a take by Hahn.
Taken by Hahn, but he was wrapped up pretty much.
Waikerie just giving this one last push. They don't care. They've got to throw everything out onto this.
Yep.
Just 20 and a half minutes played. Spenceley tries to run underneath it. Matt Wolford kicks it out. Looking for Dan Wolford. This is going to go out of bounds and take out a bit more time. Rover supporters calling for a free. Dan Wolford somewhat dealt with over the boundary line. But
gee whiz, on he comes again. Didn't get quite enough of it. Ricky Garrett comes on to take Liam Jackson's place. Liam, not necessarily a great game today. You think
ball in,
maybe in danger next week of his spot? Oh, a nice mark by Jenke across the front of the back for Renmark. Drives them forward with a mongrel 7-iron, I reckon, maybe 9-iron into the forward line. Ball comes back, Waikerie with the footy. Into the back plate. Goals at the other ends, fellas. Get on with it. Geeman with the footy. Chips it across into the back pocket. They've got to come down the middle. You can't muck around with it out on that defensive side.
That's Exton on the left back flank.
They've got to bring it back down the middle. Shortest route to the goals, fellas. Straight down the middle.
21 and a half minutes played. Fourth quarter. The Magpies trail by 18.
The veteran Thorpe takes hold of the footy, but brought to ground, and that's holding the ball. A little bit slow with the footy there and tackled by, I reckon, Heusler again.
Yeah.
Shoots it across to the middle. Finds a teammate, Jared B, who just hasn't stopped hitting up this quarter from half back.
He'd be a contender for the Hoods Agri-Motive hardest worker this
for
afternoon.
Sure. Here he goes, onto the right boot, drives it down the middle. That's the place, but who's in the way? Zach Gartery.
Great mark. Defensive
Renmark takes
pressure.
the mark.
Knew where to be.
Yep. Chips it across on the switch, but could come unstuck here. Mitch Hahn from Waikerie in there. Forces the contest.
Gillard coming back on to
straight into the back lines. Yep.
It's going to be wouldn't be much time left. 22 and a half minutes played on the Barmera Club clock. Value Care scoreboard has an 18-point lead to the Rovers.
B drives Waikerie forward yet again. This time, Timmy Bevan with the ball flicks it across to Mitch Hahn. Has a shot at goal but misses. A point only for Waikerie takes them to 5-5-35. Trailing Renmark 7-10-52. And I can't help but think it's only moments to go.
If you're a Renmark Rovers fan, you won't be able to take the PS Industry to Panther Park next week. You'll have to find some land-based transport. But it's set to be a big afternoon. Riverland football, or all day in fact. Under 13s gets underway pretty early next Saturday, Nobby.
Big day for the Barmaroos with all teams playing in the grand final next week. Be a long, long day. Bursting out of the packs, Jenke takes a bounce, takes a second bounce. No one to kick it to. Handballs across to...
It's Vader.
I reckon it's Josh Vader.
Have a second bounce,
takes
Josh.
Another bounce, chips it over, looking for Hem, can't find him. 2 Waikerie opponents with him. Hilton back in defence. Shoots it across towards Dylan Gollum.
Wrapped up by Matt Wolford, and we'll get a ball up, and this will just eke more time out of this game. Approaching 24 minutes played, fourth quarter. Riverland footy on 5RM.
I was just looking at Jake Spenceley out there as well. He is absolutely spent. There's a siren.
Renmark will go through to the grand final next week. 7 goal, 10-52 to Waikerie 5-5-35. Look, a great game of footy. Renmark getting the upper hand in the third quarter and a little in the start of the last quarter, and Waikerie, as hard as they could try and as gallant as they were, could not bridge that margin. Goal kickers for both sides.
We might cross back to that in a second, Nobby, but it has been a big afternoon here at Renmark. Joining us for the first time, a win to the Renmark Rovers, 52 to the Waikerie Magpies, 35. The Rovers will take on Barmera Monash in next weekend's Riverland Football League Grand Final at Lox North. We're going to be there, but right now we'll cross back to Trevor Scott in the Sideline View studio. When we come back, we'll recap all the action here from Renmark.
Yeah, guys, final score at Blanchetown is BSR 6-5-41 to Brownsville 12-14-86. So they'll go to the grand final against Murrayville next week. It is all going on here